last month was a mess. An absolute mess. An atrocity, one would say. A Shakespearean disaster. A chaotic conundrum of crap. Because I'm about to talk about the books I read last month. And a lot of them were duds. Hi guys, we're not gonna talk about the hair moment. I'm literally don't know what's going on with it. I don't want to talk about it. I've already filmed like 3 videos today, and I'm just not having it today. And my attitude could not be any better. Lord knows I need to read a good book right now. This month was an absolute disaster. I wish it wasn't, and it's low-key put me into a book slump, but we're here. And we need to do this, and we need to talk about it, because I can't hold on to some of these books. I actually really want to do an unhauling soon and go get more books that make me happy. Book buying makes me happy. We have a total of 7 books read. 2 are basically DNFs. No, I did DNF 2. So I finished 5 books and then DNF 2 others for a total of 7. A lot of these were disappointments. And let's just start. My first disappointment. Yeah, I know. A lot of people like this book, and I'm really sorry I didn't. And it's because I don't like Olive. I think she's kind of a doormat. And she deserves more and better from her friend group, because her friend group are always pressuring her. She doesn't want to do things that her friend group wants her to do. She needs some, like, adulting to happen in her life for her to, like, stand up for herself. And I wish she wasn't written that way. The only character I liked out of this book was Adam. Olive, all she does is care about her best friend, who seems to only care about herself. And Olive is bending backwards to fake date Adam so her best friend could be with her ex. And then as soon as she gets with said ex, they are just like doing their own thing, and Olive doesn't exist. And Olive deserves better. Her friend group sucks, and they're unlikable, and she is unlikable. I DNF'd this book when it got to the 3rd act breakup, because that whole situation, I just couldn't be bothered to read anymore about it. I just wanted things to be good for her, and it just wasn't. It was all self-sabotaging. It was all, she's not telling him things. The miscommunication trope. I'm over it. I'm done with it. I hate it. I don't like it. And if it's in a book, I'm more likely now to not read it, because it just irritates me. I didn't like it. I didn't like the love story very much. It felt pushed. It felt pressured. It was really a bummer. So I DNF'd it after, with what, 50 pages left in the book? Why did I even stop? Doesn't matter. I DNF'd it. Was not a fan. The other DNF I read was during my book bingo, and that was A Touch of Darkness. That book, no. That was such lazy writing. Literally, Persephone is getting ready for her interview or her first day or whatever for her job. And she's like trying to figure out her magic situation to glamour herself, because she's a goddess and she's not allowed to show that to people. And who pops in to help save her? Her mom. Her mom literally pops in to save every writing problem that this author had. Oh, Persephone can't do this. Well, we'll just have, Demeter come in and fix it for her. Like that. Persephone sounded like such a whiny teenager, and it was kind of pathetic and really annoying to read. And the dynamic between her and her mom, from what I remember, wasn't even all that great. The whole book made no sense, and I wished it was edited. The writing style was so bad, I just couldn't get through it. It felt like it needed help. It had some good backbone, it had some good story ideas, but the execution was not there. Am I saying that I could probably write it better? Yeah, and I don't write. I don't write. Yeah, I know. I'm really gonna be hating on books today. I'm sorry. I didn't like it. I'm sorry. There's really not a whole lot to talk about. I DNF'd it maybe 20% in. It was free, so I don't feel bad for sending it right back to the Kindle library. Doesn't matter to me at all. I don't understand how everyone likes it. I'm a whole ass adult, and a whole ass adult don't want to read about a teenager that acts like that. And the whole thing between her and Hades doesn't make any sense. No. Wasn't my fave. Was not a thing. DNF'd it. Didn't like it. So we'll check that off the list of goodbye. Hua. Ugh. No. Didn't like it. Sorry if you did though. You're allowed to like your own books, and I'm allowed to not like your books. Because that's how the world works. A book I did like was the first book in the Chestnut Spring series, Flawless by Elsie Silver. Yeah, it's free on Kindle Unlimited. Did I read on Kindle Unlimited? No, because look at that cover. Look at it. Excuse me? Yes, I love it. And you know I loved it because I tabbed it. And you know what? I don't tab. I don't annotate often. And I really liked this. This was good. I really liked it. So much so that I bought Heartless. It's over there. I need to buy the rest of the books, and I want to get the other covers because the other covers are even cuter than these, which I didn't think was possible, especially with the newest release coming out soon too. Then the whole Chestnut Spring series will be done, and I can binge the ever-living crap out of them. This was really good. I really liked it, and the story between Summer and Rhett was absolutely perfect. The dynamic between the two of them, Rhett is literally an asshole, but a gentleman, and I love that about him. The whole, like, fighting, the bullfighting stuff was really cool as well. I grew up horseback riding and doing rodeos and going to rodeos, and it felt like being back in childhood. It was so much fun to read, and I think anyone should honestly read these because they are that good. They are that enjoyable, and they are a guilty pleasure, if you want to say. And yeah, that aesthetic of cowboy is literally me. It's a cup of hot chocolate on a winter night. It is a heated blanket on a wet evening. It is a cold glass of lemonade on a summer day. This book. It's good. It's comforting. Mwah. It's good. Read it. I am all over the place. I need coffee so bad. Great. My battery is about to die. This is great. So I read one thriller last month, and it was The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides, and it was okay. I think it needed a little more thrilling in the thriller genre. It was not a bad book. I don't really remember what I rated it. I think I rated it a 4 stars on my bingo video, and you know, I think I'm gonna bump it to a 3.5. It's not what it was advertised to be, I think, is what's misleading about it, because the beginning is so boring and dry. You're following Theo, and he's having some wife issues, and he's having life issues, and he's starting a new job, and then he's basically obsessed with Alicia, who is literally what the story is about. She's the silent patient. She killed her husband and doesn't talk. Like, you're trying to get her to talk, you're trying to get her to tell her story, but when in reality, it's about Theo's story and how it's connected to Alicia, or at least that's how it's perceived. So, because he's like literally obsessed with her. The whole story, it's him trying to get her to talk, and it's a slow build up until maybe the last 100 pages when it finally hits that flip of a switch and it gives you that oh my gosh effect, because the ending is kind of crazy. Yeah, I was shocked, but in a way, how could I be? Because things were starting to fall into place, and things were starting to happen, and it made sense for how the ending was created. This is not a bad book. It's just not what I was expecting it to be. I wanted it to be more about her and less about him. Yes, it has parts of her in it, but it needed more of her in it and less of Theo. It wasn't really a disappointment per se. It's just not really thrilling. It wasn't a thriller like I thought it was gonna be. Like, it felt like a mystery novel and a detective work. It was okay. It was mediocre. We should probably end on a good one, right? So we'll go to the next book that I found to be an absolute bummer, and a lot of people like this book and I didn't. Shatter Me There's a cult following for this, and I really don't want to be the edge of a spit, or in a spit, or on a stick, or dead. Don't find me. Don't come after me. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I didn't like it. Okay? I didn't. And the reason why I didn't is because also false advertisement. This was said to be a post-apocalyptic book. This is like the least post-apocalyptic book I've ever read. There is more post-apocalypticness in Divergent than there is in Shatter Me. The world falling apart, this is literally a subplot compared to the romance trifecta that is going on in this one. And maybe I didn't understand what I was getting into when I read the back of the book, such as plans to use her as a weapon and a thrilling superhero story and an unforgettable heroine. I didn't really literally mean a superhero. Like, I didn't know that was it. I didn't really realize that this is an origin story. And I didn't expect this to be a superhero book like in general. I thought honestly it was like a Divergent situation. Boy, was I wrong. I really didn't think this was a superhero book. And I don't have a problem with superhero books, but I didn't know that was gonna be it. Tell me it gets better than this one, because I'm tired of people telling me that the first book you just have to move past it and get through. Like, I'm thinking that first books need to tie you in and bring you wanting to read the rest of the series. Not book 2, not book 3, not book 8, book 1. And if book 1 doesn't hook you, then why do you keep reading on and hoping for more? Probably because we're hopeful. We're hopeful human beings that just want to make sure that these books are good. And I was really hoping. I want to understand more about Warner. He literally is a weirdo, but like, I could see why she might go for him. Adam rubs me the wrong way. If she literally cared about people and having an actual relationship with people, I bet she could wear gloves and she'd be fine. Because literally, she touched that kid with her shirt, and then the kid got hurt when it touched her bare leg, but she took the shirt off to pick up the child and nothing happened. That's literally a loophole. The freaking girl could walk around with gloves, it'd be fine. I had so many questions that weren't being answered at the end of the book, and it was literally just a love story and nothing really about what's going on, about who the reestablishment is, not really, except at the end of the book. And even then, it's like skewed. Nothing was flowing for me. Nothing was screaming, this is gonna get better. And tell me it gets better, please, because I really want to get into these, because everyone is obsessed with them, and I guess I'm not. Tell me it gets better. Tell me, because I will try. Death. That's my cup of tea on Shatter Me. Next, I read the second book to Caral Legendary. I had no idea that Donatella was literally the main character in this. I thought this was a continuation of Scarlet. Yes, Scarlet. But then again, I look at the back of the book and it says nothing about it except another ticket. But then, it has this weird leaf thing. And that had Donatella. It's synopsis about the book. So, that's just me being stupid. The first half of this book was literally a wrap-up of what happened in the previous book, and then more about Tella and who she is as a character. And she makes a lot of unnecessary risks for herself to make her life hard for no reason at all. And I understand why Scarlet has a problem trying to keep her in line. Other than that, the build-up of the games was good. I have questions. What is up with the apples? What is up with the apples? And from what I hear, that theme will continue in Once Upon a Broken Heart. So are these books connected? I can only think that they're connected and whatnot. What is literally up with the apples? Also, what is up with the brothers? What is up with Legend? What is up with Tella? What is up with this entire story dynamic? What is up with the ending of this book? I think I gave it 3 stars. I'm gonna keep it at 3 stars. It's not a bad book. I have a lot of questions, and I'm glad that the second half got good because it was so boring in the beginning. It was just a lot. I'm hoping finale is a perfect wrap-up of everything that's going on in Stephanie Garber's world of Caral. then I can run right into Once Upon a Broken Heart and be happy. Holy poop, guys. This had a lot going on in it, and I think I was slumping in the middle of this book. Like, I was literally hitting slump. Not a bad book, not a great book, but I look forward to the last one. And hey, Zeus, tell me about the apples. That guy eats a ton of apples. What's up with Tella too? Oh, I hope she's okay and she can figure out what's going on after the end of this. I really hope she figures it out, because she deserves it, and so does Scarlet. Speaking of Scarlet, girlfriend, no, don't do that. If you know, you know. Don't do it. Don't do it, because you're literally just gonna put yourself in a hot mess, girl. It's not healthy, okay? Because literally Tella's there right now. So don't do that to yourself. Stop it. The last book that I read last month, Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. Does this book really need to have that much more to talk about it, other than that it's fucking amazing and the story is impeccable and the characters were really well thought out and the world was exquisitely made to make it feel like I'm reading a historical fiction? Like, it felt so good to read a book like this. It was heartwarming. It was heartbreaking. It was dynamic. Like, the characters of Roman and Iris are so well thought out, and the love story between the two of them is so good. I can't help but wait to see how the last book is going to be, and it will be here in December, so I will be reading that as soon as it comes to my front door, because it's been pre-ordered. I can't wait to see how this is going to be wrapped up. This book deserves all of the hype that it is getting on the internet. 100%. And I don't like hype books. I usually find the books that are hyped, I don't personally like. This was good. I really liked it. I think more people need to understand that these are really well worth it. The world that has been built, the parts between how the story starts to ending, how the gods are made. This is a fantasy book, but like I said, it feels more like a historical fantasy book, because the fantasy is so lowbrow, you can really just kind of get behind it being like a normal fairy tale. The dynamic between the characters, the love story between the characters, everything about them is so good, and you can't help but root for them throughout the entire story. The side characters are really likable. The ending really caught me off guard, and I wasn't expecting it, and I think Rebecca Ross did such a good job with Divine Rivals that I hope her other book doesn't flop, and I hope it wraps up perfectly like it did in this one. Also, I take off my dust jackets when I read because I don't like ruining them, and I also take them off when I'm looking at books. This one is literally created with a typewriter on it. They actually went out for a normal dust jacket. Like, they actually made their books look nice. Good job, publishers, because we like looking at this kind of stuff on our books and not some plain Jane hardcover, okay? That's why we like buying fancy books that look nice and pretty. I don't have a whole lot to say about Divine Rivals except that it was really good and the story was well written, the dynamic was amazing, the world building was good. I ate up every second of it. I was kicking my feet, and I can't wait for the last book to come out. These are the books I read last month. I wish that a lot of these were more hits than misses, because literally out of this entire bunch, only 2 books were my favorite. The other ones fell flat and didn't give me what I was really looking for. I think Legendary was fine too. It's just, I was slumping. So I feel like I didn't give it a fair shot. Hopefully for October, we'll have a better reading month, because this one was literally a mess. And I didn't read a lot of books the previous month in August, but I had more hits than I had misses, even though I read literally 4 books, which really bums me out. So I'm hoping October is a freaking hit, because I am due. I had some awesome prompts in my TBR video, and I can't wait to read them because I need them bad. That's enough yik yakking from me. I hope you guys have a good day or night whenever you're watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye guys.